Ladies, let me tell you something, and I need you to sit down for this one. Pour yourself a cup of coffee, put your phone face down, and let me talk to you like your uncle who loves you too much to lie to you. Because tonight, I'm going to answer the one question that has been quietly eating at you for years. The question you whisper to your girlfriends over wine. The question you type into Google at 2 in the morning when the house is quiet and your heart is loud. How do I really know if this man loves me, not likes me, not enjoys me, not tolerates me, loves me? And I know why you're asking. Because a man will tell you he loves you with his mouth full of lies. He'll say the word so smooth it sounds like a song. He'll text it, whisper it, carve it into a birthday card. But sister, words are cheap. Words are the wrapping paper. Words are the perfume on a dead flower. What you need to learn to read is his behavior. Because a man's actions will always tell you the truth his mouth is trying to hide. So tonight I'm giving you 6 things. 6 things a man only does for the woman he genuinely, deeply, protectively loves. Not the woman he's passing time with. Not the woman he's keeping warm until something better comes along. Not the woman he's using as a soft place to land between his real chapters. The woman he loves. And by the time we're done, you're going to know exactly where you stand. You're going to stop guessing. You're going to stop asking your friends. You're going to stop reading his texts like they're the Dead Sea Scrolls. You're going to know. And once you know, baby, you can finally choose yourself with clarity. So sit down. Let me break this down for you. See, here's what most women don't understand about men. We are not complicated. I know your girlfriends told you we were. I know every romance novel made us out to be these deep, mysterious creatures with layers you have to peel back like an onion. But listen to me carefully. Men are simple. We are not simple like stupid. We are simple like water. We flow where it's easy. We settle where it's comfortable. And we move mountains only for what we truly want. That's it. That's the whole book. So when a man loves you, it is not a mystery. It is not a mystery. It is not hidden. It is not a code you have to crack. When a man loves you, his whole life starts to arrange itself around you like furniture around a fireplace. Everything he does begins to point toward you. His time, his money, his energy, his future, his friends, his family, his fears. All of it starts to lean in your direction. And when a man doesn't love you, baby, no amount of your loving him is going to bend him toward you. You cannot love a man into loving you. Write that down. Tape it to your bathroom mirror. Because that one sentence is going to save you years of your life. Now here's what I need you to understand before I give you these 6 signs. A man in love is not a man who is perfect. He's going to still leave the toilet seat up. He's going to still forget your cousin's name. He's going to still watch the game when you want to talk. Love does not mean he becomes a different species. Love means his priorities shift. His protection turns on. His future gets rewritten with you in the center of it. That's what you're looking for. Not perfection, priority. Not romance novel behavior, real, consistent, boring, beautiful, everyday love. So let's get into it. The first thing a man does only for the woman he loves. Number 1, sister. He protects your name when you are not in the room. Now listen to me carefully because this one is going to hit different. A man who loves you will defend your name when you cannot defend yourself. He will not let his boys talk sideways about you. He will not laugh when his cousin makes a joke at your expense. He will not sit at Thanksgiving dinner and let his mama pick you apart like a chicken bone. He will speak up. He will shut it down. He will say, "That's my woman you're talking about, and I'd appreciate it if you found another topic." Now, you might be sitting there thinking, well, my man just doesn't like confrontation. Baby, no. A man who loves you will confront the whole world for you. He will pick fights he doesn't want to pick. He will lose friendships to keep your dignity intact. Because in his mind, protecting your name is protecting his own peace. When a man loves you, your reputation becomes his reputation. Your honor becomes his honor. And he treats it the way a soldier treats a flag. He does not let it touch the ground. Have you ever been in a room and heard someone say something small about you, and you looked at your man and he just kind of chuckled, or looked at his plate, or changed the subject like he didn't hear it? Sister, that silence you heard was not neutrality. That silence was a betrayal. Because in that moment, he had a choice. Speak up for the woman he claims to love, or keep the peace with people who don't matter. And he chose them. He chose comfort over you. And baby, a man who chooses comfort over you today is going to choose comfort over you every day for the rest of your life. That is the man you're going to have to beg to show up at your mama's funeral. That is not he just going through some message. That is not going through some message. Because he already showed you in that little moment at that dinner table that his comfort is worth more than your dignity. Now let me tell you about a woman I know. Let's call her Maya. Maya was with a man for 4 years. Handsome, smart, made good money, said all the right things. But every time they were around his family, his sister would slide in these little jokes about Maya. Little digs about her hair, her body, her career, the way she talked. And every time this man would just sit there and eat his food. Silent as a stone, Maya would come home and cry and ask him, "Why didn't you say something?" And he would say, "Baby, you're too sensitive. That's just how my family jokes." 4 years. 4 years of that. And then one day Maya met a different man. A quieter man, not as flashy, not as smooth, as she went to his family's Sunday dinner, and his uncle made a little comment about her being divorced. And before Maya could even blink, this man put his fork down and said, "Uncle, that's my woman. We don't do that here." And the whole table got quiet. And Maya said in that moment she realized what love actually was. Love is not the man who says the sweetest things when it's just the two of you. Love is the man who says the truest things when the world is watching. So sister, ask yourself, when people talk about you, does he stand up or does he sit down? Because a man in love stands up every single time. That is not negotiable. That is not personality. That is not shyness. That is love, plain and simple, showing itself in the way God intended. Now here's where most women mess up. You start making excuses for him. You say, well, that's his mama. He can't be rude to his mama. Baby, defending you is not being rude. Defending you is man a man. And if he cannot be a man in front of his mama, then he is not ready to be a husband in front of God. You are not asking for too much. You are asking for the bare minimum. You are asking for what your grandfather did for your grandmother without even thinking twice about it. So here's what you do. Stop explaining his silence to yourself. Stop translating his cowardice into some romantic language. Watch him. Just watch him. The next time somebody says something slick about you in his presence, don't say a word. Just watch. Because his response, or his lack of response, is going to tell you everything you need to know about where you stand in his life. Let's move to number 2. And this one, sister, this one is going to make you sit up straight. A man who loves you plans a future that has your name written all over it. Now hear me on this. I'm not talking about marriage proposals. I'm not talking about him buying you a ring on month 3. I'm talking about the way he speaks, the way he uses language. When a man loves you, the word I starts to disappear from his vocabulary, and the word we shows up like a permanent guest. He doesn't say, I'm thinking about buying a house next year. He says, we should start looking at houses next year. He doesn't say, I want to take a trip to Italy someday. He says, when we go to Italy, I want to take you to this little town my grandfather told me about. Do you hear the difference? Do you hear how his tongue has already put you in the picture? That is not accident. That is not slip of the tongue. That is a man whose mind is already living in a future with you in it. And baby, when a man does not love you, watch how he talks about the future. It's all I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna move here. And you sitting there like a passenger who's not sure she's on the right bus. You're smiling and nodding and trying to squeeze yourself into his sentences, but there is no room for you because he hasn't made room for you. Not in his mouth, not in his mind, not in his plans. Listen, men are architects by nature. We build, we plan, we calculate. And when a man loves a woman, he starts drawing blueprints, and your name is on those blueprints in permanent ink. He's thinking about where you're going to raise your kids. He's thinking about which city has the best schools. He's thinking about how much life insurance he needs to make sure you're taken care of if something happens to him. He's not saying all this out loud yet because men don't announce their plans, we execute them. But if you pay attention, you will see him quietly, patiently, deliberately building a life with a U-shaped space at the center of it. Now let me tell you about a woman named Rachel. Rachel dated a man for 2 years. Every time she brought up the future, he got tight. He got quiet. He got busy. Oh, baby, I'm just focused on my career right now. Oh, baby, let's just enjoy what we have. Oh, baby, I don't want to put pressure on us. 2 years of that. And Rachel kept telling herself, he just needs more time. He just needs more time. He just needs more time. Sister, when a man tells you he needs more time to decide if you're the one, he has already decided. He just doesn't have the courage to tell you the truth, because here's what Rachel didn't know. 6 months after they broke up, that same man got engaged to a woman he had known for 4 months. 4 months. And Rachel called me crying and she said, how? How did he know in 4 months with her when he couldn't figure it out in 2 years with me? And I told her the truth. Baby, he knew about you too. He knew you weren't the one. He just didn't want to lose the benefits while he was still looking. And that, sister, is one of the ugliest truths about men that nobody wants to say out loud. A man will keep you in his life not because he loves you, but because you make his life comfortable while he searches for the woman he actually wants. I know that hurts. I know that stings. But I would rather you feel that sting for 5 minutes tonight than waste 5 more years of your life waiting on a man who has already decided you're not it. So how do you know the difference? How do you know if he's building a future with you or just parking his car in your driveway until the storm passes? You listen to his language. You watch his money. You watch his money. You watch his time. Because those 3 things, sister, don't lie. A man who loves you will merge his calendar with yours. He will start telling his friends, let me check with my woman first. He will start factoring you into his big decisions, even the small ones. Should we get the black car or the gray one? What do you think, baby? That is a man planning a life. That is a man who has already made you his home. And a man who does not love you will keep his life separate from yours like 2 different bank accounts that never touch. His plans are his plans. His decisions are his decisions. His future is his future. And you are just a chapter he's reading right now, and he can put you down at any moment. Sister, watch the pronouns. Watch the pronouns. That is a lesson your mama should have taught you. When a man's mouth is full of we and us and ours, he is loving you. When a man's mouth is full of I and me and mine, he is using you. It really is that simple. Now, number 3. This is one of my favorites because so many women miss it completely. A man who loves you will let you see him weak. Now sit with that for a second. A man who loves you will let you see him weak. Baby, do you understand how hard it is for a man to be vulnerable? Do you understand what we've been taught since we were 4 years old? Don't cry. Be tough. Man up. Suck it up. Walk it off. We have been trained our entire lives to bury our feelings so deep that even we can't find them. So when a man opens up to you, when he tells you about his father who abandoned him, when he tells you about his fear of failing, when he tells you about the night he almost gave up, when he lets a tear fall in front of you, sister, that is not weakness. That is worship, because he is showing you a room in his soul that he has kept locked from every other woman in his life. A man does not cry in front of a woman he does not love. A man does not confess his fears to a woman he does not trust. A man does not tell you about the shame he's carrying to a woman he thinks might leave him. When a man is vulnerable with you, he is handing you the keys to his kingdom. He is saying, I trust you not to burn this place down, and here's what I need you to do with that, sister. Handle it with care. Handle it like a newborn baby. Because the moment you shame a man for being vulnerable, the moment you throw his weakness back in his face during an argument, the moment you tell your girlfriends the secret he trusted you with, you have killed something in him that he may never let live again. Not with you. Not with anybody. You will have taught him that vulnerability is dangerous, and he will lock that door and never open it again. Now let me tell you what a man in love looks like in his soft moments. He'll come home after a hard day, and he'll put his head in your lap. He'll close his eyes. He won't say a word. And you might think, is he mad at me? Is something wrong? Baby, no. He is home. He is safe. You are the only place in his whole world where he can put down the armor. Everywhere else, he has to be strong. He has to be the provider, the protector, the fixer. But with you, he can just be a man, a tired, human, imperfect man. And that, sister, is one of the greatest honors a woman can be given. And when a man does not love you, he will never let you see that side of him. He will keep the mask on. He will crack jokes when things get deep. He will change the subject when emotions come up. He will tell you he's fine when he's clearly not. Because in his heart, he doesn't trust you with the real him. He's showing you the character he plays. He is not showing you the man underneath. Let me tell you about a woman named Tasha. Tasha was married to a man for 8 years. Nice man, good provider, never cheated, never raised his voice. But one day Tasha found out through his sister that his mother had died 6 months earlier. 6 months. He never told her. He went to the funeral alone, told Tasha it was a business trip, came home and never mentioned it again. And when Tasha confronted him, crying, asking why didn't you tell me, he said, I didn't want to bother you with it. Sister, that is not love. That is coexistence. That is two people sharing a bathroom and a mortgage and calling it a marriage. Because a man who loves you brings his grief to you. A man who loves you does not carry his heaviest moments alone. He knows he doesn't have to because he has you. And if he has you and he still chooses to carry it alone, then baby, he does not have you the way you thought he did. So watch him in the hard moments. Watch him when his father gets sick. Watch him when he loses a job. Watch him when his best friend betrays him. Does he come to you or does he go to the garage? Does he open up or does he shut down? Because love, real love, does not shut down. Real love opens up, even when it's messy, even when it's ugly, even when it makes him look weaker than he wants to look. Because a man in love would rather look weak in front of you than lonely without you. Number 4, and this one, sister, this is where a lot of you have been getting fooled. A man who loves you will invest his money in you without you having to ask. Now listen carefully, because I already know what some of you are thinking. Steve, I'm not with him for his money. I don't need a man to buy me things. I can buy my own everything. And baby, I hear you. I respect you. That is exactly the woman you should be. But I want you to understand something about men that most women don't get taught. For a man, money is not just money. Money is time. Money is time. Money is sweat. Money is hours of his life he can never get back. So when a man spends money on you, he is not just spending dollars. He is spending pieces of his life. He is saying, this woman is worth my hours, my sweat, my energy, my time on this earth. And when a man does not spend money on you willingly, easily, generously, he is telling you the exact opposite. He is telling you that you are not worth his hours. Whether he says it or not, that is the message. Now, I'm not saying he has to be rich. I'm not saying he has to buy you diamonds and designer bags. Some men don't have a lot to give. But a man in love gives what he has. He gives it freely. He gives it without complaint. He gives it without keeping score. If he has $10, he wants to spend 8 of it making you smile. If he has $1 million, he wants to spend most of it building the life you two dream about together. The number is not the point. The generosity is the point. The direction of his money is the point. And baby, if a man makes 6 figures and you're still splitting the check on the 3rd date, if he's 50 years old and still asking you to Venmo him for gas money, if he's calculating who paid last time and holding it over your head, sister, that is not a man in love. That is a mess's partner in a relationship costume. Because a man in love spends. He spends money. He spends time. He spends effort. And a man who is not in love calculates. He calculates every dollar, every minute, every text message, every favor. Now, I want to be very careful here because this is the part where women get it twisted. I'm not saying a man's love equals his bank account. I am saying that a man's love is measured by his willingness to sacrifice for you. Sacrifice can be money, or it can be time, or it can be attention, or it can be attention, or it can be comfort. But there must be sacrifice. Because love at its core is a decision to put another person before yourself. And a man who will not put you before himself in even the small ways will never put you before himself in the big ways. Let me tell you about a woman named Denise. Denise dated a man who made 3 times what she made. 3 times. And every time they went out, he would order the most expensive things on the menu for himself and then look at her plate and say, baby, you sure you need the salmon? The chicken is cheaper. Denise thought he was being funny. She thought he was being frugal. She married him. 10 years into that marriage, she found out he had been sending his brother $2,000 a month, buying his mama a car, taking his boys on golf trips to Florida. And when she asked him to help pay for her nephew's college books, he told her that wasn't his responsibility. Sister, that man was not stingy. He was selective. He spent freely on the people he valued. He just didn't value her. And here's the hard part, baby. She saw the signs on date 3. She saw them on date 3. But she told herself, oh, he's just careful with money. She rewrote his behavior to protect the fantasy of him. And that, sister, is a mistake I don't want you making tonight or ever again. Watch how a man spends, not how much. How? Because his wallet, sister, is a window into his heart. A man opens his wallet for what he loves, period. Number 5, and pay attention now because this is one of the most missed signs in the entire game of love. A man who loves you will change for you without you having to nag him. Now, sister, I already know every relationship expert on the internet has told you that you cannot change a man, and they're right. You cannot change a man. But a man in love, baby, a man in love will change himself. There is a difference. There is a huge difference. You see, when a man loves a woman, he starts to look at himself through her eyes. And when he sees something in himself that would hurt her, disappoint her, or make her feel less than, he starts working on it. Not because she nagged him, not because she gave him an ultimatum, not because she cried in the kitchen at midnight, but because his love for her made him want to be a better man than he was yesterday. That is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. A man in love, motivated by love, upgrading himself in silence. He'll quit drinking so much because he sees the fear in your eyes. He'll start going to therapy because he doesn't want his temper to touch you. He'll cut off the friends who don't respect you because keeping them means disrespecting you by proxy. He'll start reading books about how to be a better husband, even though he's not your husband yet. He'll start praying more, working out more, listening more, apologizing more. And half the time, he won't even tell you he's doing it. You'll just notice. One day you'll look up and realize the man in front of you is a better version of the man you started with. And you didn't have to nag him into it. He grew into it. Because you were watering him with your love, and he decided he wanted to be worthy of that garden. Now hear me on this. If you have been dating a man for 2 years and he is the same man on day 730 that he was on day 1, if his temper hasn't softened, if his laziness hasn't lifted, if his pettiness hasn't matured, if his sharp edges haven't rounded, sister, that man does not love you enough to grow for you. Because love, real love, is a growth accelerator. It makes people evolve. And if there is no evolution, there is no love. There is only habit. I've seen women stay with men for a decade waiting for change. Baby, if a man is not changed in year 1, he will not change in year 10. He will only get more entrenched. He will only get more comfortable. He will only get better at making excuses for the same behavior. Because change requires 2 things, awareness and motivation, and love, when it is real, provides both. It makes him aware of his flaws, and it motivates him to fix them. And listen, I'm not saying he has to be perfect. I'm saying he has to be moving, just growing, just trying. A man who is trying, sister, is a man who is loving. And a man who is stagnant, no matter how sweet his words are, is a man who has decided you are not worth the effort of evolution. Now here's where women mess this up. You start trying to be his growth coach. You start sending him articles. You start dropping hints. You start comparing him to your friend's husband. Stop. Please stop. That is not your job. Your job is not to raise a grown man. Your job is to notice whether he is growing on his own. If he is, water him. If he is not, walk away. Because a plant that will not grow toward the light, sister, is not going to grow just because you keep pouring water on it. Sometimes the loving thing to do is to pick up your watering can and go find a garden that actually wants to bloom. And listen, this is not about ultimatums. This is not about threats. This is about observation. Just watch him. 6 months from now, is he a slightly better version of himself than he was 6 months ago? Even a little bit? If yes, you are with a man who is capable of love. If no, you are with a man who is capable of comfort. And baby, comfort is not the same thing as love. Comfort is just an armchair. Love is a whole house. Number 6, sister. The last one. And this might be the most important one of all. A man who loves you will show up when there is nothing in it for him. Read that again. A man who loves you will show up when there is nothing in it for him. Now, this one is beautiful because it separates the men from the boys faster than anything else on this list. See, most men will show up when there is a reward at the end of the road. A meal, a night in your bed, a public event where he gets to show off, an anniversary where he looks like the hero. That is not love. That is transaction. That is a man playing the role of a good partner when the cameras are rolling and the crowd is watching. But a man who loves you will show up when the cameras are off. He will show up when you have the flu and you look terrible and smell like vapor rub and you haven't washed your hair in 4 days. He will show up when your daddy is in the hospital and there is nothing romantic about the fluorescent lights and the waiting room chairs. He will show up when your car breaks down at 11 at night on the side of the highway, and he doesn't even complain about the rain. He will show up when you are having your worst emotional day, when you are ugly crying, when you are not making sense, when you are being difficult. He will show up when there is absolutely nothing sexy, fun, or rewarding about the moment. Because in his mind, showing up for you is its own reward. That, sister, is love. Not the roses on Valentine's Day. Not the vacation photos on Instagram. Not the fancy dinner on your birthday. Anybody can do that. A man who barely likes you can do that. But the man who sits in the ER with you at 3 in the morning, holding a plastic bag of your belongings, checking his watch to remind you when to take your next pill, that is a man who loves you. Let me tell you one more story, and I want you to really hear this one. There was a woman named Angela. Angela had been dating a man for about a year. Everything looked perfect from the outside. He took her to nice places. He bought her nice things. He introduced her to his friends. He seemed like a dream. And then Angela's mother had a stroke, and Angela had to fly across the country and stay with her mother for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. No dates, no romantic dinners, no Instagram photos, just a scared daughter sleeping on a hospital cot next to a hospital bed. And do you know what that man did? He called her once during those 6 weeks. Once. He said, "Baby, I hope your mama gets better, and I'll see you when you get back." And he went on with his life. Meanwhile, one of her old friends, a man she had known for years but never dated, a man who had always been in the background, he flew out on his own dime, brought her mama flowers, sat with her in the hospital waiting room, and when she said, "You don't have to be here," he said, "I know I don't have to. I want to." Angela came home 3 months later. She broke up with the boyfriend, married the friend. As she told me later, she said, "Steve, I had been so blinded by the romance that I forgot to check for the love." The romance was the man taking her to Paris. The love was the man sitting in a hospital waiting room in Cleveland, eating machine snacks so she wouldn't have to be alone. Do you understand the difference, sister? Do you understand it in your bones? Romance is what a man does when it makes him look good. Love is what a man does when nobody is watching. Romance is public. Love is private. Romance is the highlight reel. Love is the boring behind-the-scenes footage that nobody ever posts. And baby, you deserve the boring behind-the-scenes footage, because the highlight reel will not hold you when you are 90 years old and your body is failing. The behind-the-scenes footage will. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to stop measuring men by their best days. Every man looks good on his best day. Every man is charming when the wind is at his back, and life is easy. That doesn't tell you a thing. What tells you everything is how he behaves on his worst day, and how he behaves on your worst day. Because love is not tested in the sunshine. Love is tested in the storm. And a man who runs from your storm, sister, is not a man who loves you. He is a man who was enjoying your sunshine. And now that it's raining, he wants to find someone with a bigger umbrella. Now, before I let you go, I need to talk to you about something, because I know some of you are sitting there right now with tears in your eyes. I know some of you are counting on your fingers thinking, 1, 2, 3. Oh God, none of these apply to him. And I need you to know something. That realization you're having right now, that quiet, painful, sinking feeling in your chest, that is not sadness. That is clarity. And clarity, baby, is a gift, even when it hurts, because for years you have been operating in fog. You have been asking your girlfriend, "Do you think he loves me?" You have been analyzing his text messages like they were sacred scripture. You have been trying to convince yourself that his crumbs were a meal. And now, tonight, at this moment, you are seeing him clearly for the first time. And I know that hurts. I know it feels like the floor just fell out from under you. But sister, listen to me. It is better to lose him with clarity than to keep him with confusion. It is better to walk away with your eyes open than to stay with your heart bleeding. You are not too much. You have never been too much. You will never be too much. You will never be too much. The problem was never that you loved too hard. The problem was that you loved a man who was not equipped to receive it. That is not your failure. That is his limitation. And you cannot spend the rest of your life trying to squeeze love out of a stone. Some men, baby, some men are just stones. They are not bad. They are not evil. They are just not for you. And the sooner you stop trying to turn a stone into a fountain, the sooner you can go find the fountain that is already flowing, just waiting for you to walk up. And to the woman who is sitting there thinking, but Steve, what if I'm wrong? What if I leave and he was the one and I just didn't see it? Sister, hear me. If he was the one, you would not be sitting here at midnight watching a video trying to figure out if he loves you. The one does not leave you guessing. The one does not leave you doubting. The one leaves you certain. And if you are not certain, that is your answer. Not because love is always dramatic, not because love is always obvious, but because a man who loves you will make sure you know it. He will not leave that job to you. He will not make you the detective in your own love story. He will hand you the evidence himself every single day in 1,000 little ways. Now, some of you are sitting there thinking about the man in your life right now, and you're checking these 6 signs against him. Does he protect your name when you're not in the room? Does he build a future with your name written all over it? Does he let you see him weak? Does he invest his money in you without you having to ask? Does he grow into a better man because of you? Does he show up when there is nothing in it for him? If the answer to at least 4 of those is yes, sister, hold on to that man, love him well, cherish him, because that man is doing the work and that man is real. But if the answer to most of those is no, if you're stretching and squinting and trying to make his behavior fit, baby, please, please put down the magnifying glass. The truth is not hiding. The truth is standing right in front of you, waving its arms. You are just afraid to look at it. And I understand that fear. I do. Because when you look at the truth, you have to make a decision. And decisions are terrifying. It is so much easier to stay in the fog. It is so much easier to keep telling yourself the beautiful lie. But sister, the beautiful lie will cost you your one and only life. And you are worth more than that. You are worth so much more than that. Now, I want to give you something to hold on to, because I don't want you leaving here just hurting. I want you leaving here empowered. So here is what I need you to remember. When you carry yourself like a woman who knows her worth, you become invisible to the men who cannot afford you. That is not cruelty. That is not cruelty. That is filtration. That is a gift from God to protect your peace. And when you carry yourself like a woman who knows what love is, you become magnetic to the man who has been waiting his whole life to give it to you. He is out there, sister. He is out there, sister. He is out there. And he is looking for a woman who is done accepting less. He is looking for a woman who knows the difference between a compliment and a commitment. He is looking for a woman who has raised her standards so high that only a man of substance can even reach her. Be that woman. Become that woman. Right now, tonight, in this moment, decide to be that woman. Because let me tell you something, sister. The right man, the man who loves you the way I have been describing tonight, he will not be intimidated by your standards. He will be attracted to them. He will look at you with your head high and your peace protected and your heart guarded but open. And he will say, finally, finally, a woman who knows what she deserves. Finally, a woman who is not going to make me guess. Finally, a woman I can pour my love into without watching her water it down. That man exists. He is real. And he is not going to show up in your life while you are still tolerating the counterfeit. You have to let the counterfeit go to make room for the real thing. So tonight I want you to make a decision. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when the timing is better. Tonight, I want you to decide that you are done being confused. I want you to decide that you are done accepting crumbs. I want you to decide that you are done shrinking yourself to fit into a love that was never big enough for you in the first place. Because, sister, you are not asking for too much. You are not too deep. You are not too emotional. You are not too complicated. You are not too old. You are not too tired. You are not too tired. You are not too broken. You are not too anything. You are exactly enough. You have always been exactly enough. And any man who cannot see that, sister, does not deserve to be in the same room as you, let alone in the center of your life. Carry yourself like a woman who knows. That's what I want you to remember. Carry yourself like a woman who knows her worth. Carry yourself like a woman who knows what love looks like. Carry yourself like a woman who knows the difference between a man who is passing through and a man who is planting roots. Carry yourself like a woman who has been through the storm and made it to the other side, wiser, softer where she needs to be, and harder where she needs to be. Carry yourself like a woman who knows. And when the right man finds you, and he will, sister, he will, you will not have to convince him of anything. You will not have to prove your value. You will not have to explain your worth. He will see it. He will honor it. He will build his whole life around it. And you will look back on this night, this quiet night when you sat and listened to an old man tell you the truth, and you will thank yourself for being brave enough to hear it. Because that is what tonight is. It is a moment of bravery. It takes courage to look at a relationship honestly. It takes courage to admit when the signs are missing. It takes courage to walk away from what is familiar. It takes courage to believe that you deserve better, especially when the whole world has been quietly telling you to settle. But baby, you were not born to settle. You were born to be chosen, cherished, protected, provided for, understood, and loved. Not just loved, adored. Not just loved, adored. Not just liked, preferred. Not just rated, celebrated. That is your birthright. That is the love God intended for you when he put breath in your lungs. So do not settle for less than what heaven intended for you. Do not settle for a man who cannot see the value that God himself placed inside of you. Do not settle for lukewarm love, part-time attention, or seasonal commitment. Wait for the whole thing. Wait for the real thing. Wait for the man who will do all 6 of these things without you ever having to teach him. Because, sister, when he comes, and he will come, he will make every day of the waiting worth it. Every tear, every lonely night, every heartbreak you survived on the way to him. He will look at you and say, "Thank you for waiting for me." And you will look at him and know in your bones that this is the man God had been preparing for you all along. So keep your head up. Keep your standards high. Keep your heart open, but keep your gates guarded. Love yourself so fiercely, so completely, so unapologetically that the wrong men fall away like dead leaves in October. Because when you become a woman who loves herself with that kind of intensity, sister, you become impossible to fool. You become impossible to waste. You become impossible to lose. Now listen, if any part of this hit your spirit tonight, if you felt one of these truths land in your chest like a stone dropping into deep water, I want you to do one thing for me. Share this message, not for me, for your sisters, for your daughters, for your friends, for that woman in your life who is quietly, silently, painfully going through exactly what I just described. Because sometimes the best thing we can do for each other, sister to sister, woman to woman, is just to say, "Here, this is for you. Somebody told me the truth, and now I'm telling you, because you deserve to hear it too." And to the woman who is going to be brave tonight, The woman who is finally going to have that conversation. The woman who is finally going to make that decision. The woman who is finally going to walk away or stay, but with her eyes wide open this time. I see you. I am proud of you. And I promise you, on everything I have ever learned about love in this long life of mine, the best days of your life are still ahead of you, not behind you, ahead of you. You are not too late. You are not too old. You are not too broken. You are right on time. God's timing has never been wrong, and it is not going to start being wrong now. So take a deep breath, wipe your tears if you have any, and walk into tomorrow like the queen you have always been, because the man who loves you, really loves you, in all 6 of these ways is out there, sister. He is out there. And when he finds you, you will finally understand what all of this was for. You are not asking for too much. You have never been asking for too much. You will never be asking for too much. You are exactly enough. You have always been exactly enough, and the right man will spend the rest of his life proving it to you every single day in 1,000 little ways without you ever having to ask. Carry yourself like a woman who knows. And baby, from this night forward, you know